What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Lombardi Time Brews. I'm your host, John Delray. The park is surrounded with activity today, a much different environment than the last couple. It's a Friday, after all, and it is a gorgeous day here in Green Bay as we are recapping day 4 of training camp for the Green Bay Packers. So I've got all the updates for you, the news, the notes, everything you need to know, and I'm going to go through it here bit by bit. But of course, joining us very, very quick, as he always does, Mr. Captain Keppel saying, I'm hearing things. Saw the numbers 63 and 64 pop up. You know, I will say this. All of the interwebs right now seems to be aglow about the possibility of Jordan Love's contract coming in. Hopefully, I know we don't want more days of Sean Clifford and a stagnant offense, although I will say, like, one of the themes of the day today was that it overall was better. Like, even small progress is still progress. I promise I wasn't this loud a couple minutes ago. But anyway, so let's get to recapping the day's events. First of all, the injuries. Donovan Jennings, UDFA offensive lineman, he returned today. Caleb Jones, he returned today. Very important for him to return, both for tackle depth, but also his chances to continue to make the 53. He was back today, as well as Corey Ballantyne, the corner, also returned today. Still out, though, obviously, with his hold-in, Jordan Love. Then also Marshawn Lloyd with his hip injury still out. Tucker Kraft, Keaton Oladapo, both still out as well. Josh Myers, the starting center, was out today with a personal matter. LaFleur wouldn't dive into it much more than that. Obviously, he just said that he's out for personal reasons. And then Robert Rochelle out with a calf injury was the depth corner. What's up, Janelle? Janelle saying, sign Jordan Love. I agree. It's time. It's past time. I'm willing to bet that some of what is going on, as we've heard throughout the offseason, is that Jordan and his representation does not want to sign until the quarterback market is settled. You know, if every quarterback contract is going to be higher than the last, why do you want to be first? You want to be last. Well, Tua is now doing a hold-in for Miami. At least he was yesterday. I think he still is today. I don't know. So I understand the logic there. But for Green Bay, yeah, no, it's time. Let's get a move on for sure. Let's see. So your starting lineup for today for day 4 was, of course, Sean Clifford at quarterback, Josh Jacobs at running back. Then for the line, as I said, with Josh Myers being out, there was a little switcheroo on the offensive line. We saw Rasheed Walker left tackle, Sean Ryan left guard, Eldon Jenkins kicked over to center, and then right guard Jordan Morgan, where he's getting an increasing amount of time. I do think Jordan Morgan might wind up being your day 1 right guard. We'll find out. And then Kadeem Telfort getting the start again at right tackle, although I will note Andre Dillard was pretty quick in there with the 2s thereafter. Defensively, your starting lineup for today was Smith, Clark, Slayton, and Gary, the front 4, of course. Then at linebacker, Quay Walker and Isaiah McDuffie, as has been the norm. Secondary, Nixon, Jair, Stokes, Xavier McKinney, and then also starting next to McKinney today was Anthony Johnson Jr., as it's obviously his turn in the carousel of young safeties that have been rotating through for those number 1 snaps. So Anthony Johnson Jr.'s day today. Connie saying we need Love, give him what he wants. We all need Love, Connie. But yeah, no, the Packers really, really, really do. It's like I said earlier, it's time. We got to get this done. We have to. It's there. It's that time. So now let's dive into kicking next. If you want to know how kicking went today, it was not bad. Like, Turner did not cook today. It was Carlson and Joseph's day to kick today. Carlson ultimately on the day wound up going 5 for 6. He drilled in his first 3. Then his second 3 set of attempts were 2 for 3 ultimately. On the day, though, he hit from 43, 48, 40, 44, 42, and then he missed wide left on his only 50-yard attempt. As for Greg Joseph, a perfect 6 for 6 day. Good from 40, 43, 48, 40, 43, and then also 50. I will note, too, anything that was under 45 for Greg Joseph, he didn't just make, it actually went above the net that they had to kick these. I mean, impressive power from Joseph. Carlson, yeah, he was 5 of 6 today, but he still had that kind of, I talked about it a bunch last season. It seemed like he was more inconsistent when he had this almost short kick in his technique. Today, yeah, very good results. 5 of 6. Maybe he's working on getting consistency in the short kick because the vast majority of those attempts were still the short kick attempts. So we'll have to see how that progressive ultimately for Anders Carlson. Other quick special teams notes, the kick returners today, there were a bunch. Keyshawn Nixon, Josh Jacobs, Jaden Reed. Normal. Jacobs continue to believe he's just a break glass in case of emergency, but also getting some reps with Samari Toure, Emmanuel Wilson, Stanley, and then also Jarvian Howard, the UDFA running back. As for the players of the day, really, ultimately, your players of the day, one of them, Xavier McKinney. He got himself what probably would have been a pick six if they would have run it all the way out, but he did indeed get an interception on Sean Clifford during the red zone portion. So he certainly is one player of the day. The other one that I gave a nod to is Emmanuel Wilson. The Packers ultimately did more run work today than they had other days. Other days have been very, very pass-centric. Today, not so much. It was much more of an even offensive split. And that meant that Emmanuel Wilson got some carries, albeit with the twos, but got some carries, found some creases. I felt it was a very good running day for Emmanuel Wilson, even though the odds are still stacked against him. And then you try again another day. Pass catchers. It's Clifford, not Love. Clifford is running for his life. No, the throws are not accurate, but if y'all could catch it, it would be helpful. I swear that's a necessary component of football, because today drops again. Samari Toure with another drop. This has been a consistent theme from him. Luke Musgrave had what probably would have been a touchdown, a drop. And then also Dontavian Wicks, one where he was open in the end zone, one of assuredly would have been a touchdown, was a drop. So there you go. Even if you're looking at Clifford stats on the days, it's man, not only is he not playing well, dude can't catch a break because everything that goes into the end zone is dropped. So certainly, I don't want to make it sound like it was this overbearing, they couldn't complete a pass thing, but in key moments, there were repeated drops today. Toure, Musgrave, Wicks, the biggest offenders in that regard. Then checking up on the follower requests, I've been asked to look for Kalen King, as well as leadership. Both of these very handedly kind of go together. I talked yesterday or Wednesday about how when they go into corners, it's not all corners together anymore. Now it's slot versus boundary corners. They're doing different things. Well, today, Kalen King, Keyshawn Nixon kept going with that. But Corey Ballantyne joined them in the slot area. He also did do some boundary stuff. So it looks like Ballantyne really the only one kind of bouncing back and forth between the two. But staying dedicated to the slot area was Keyshawn Nixon and Kalen King. On the leadership note, I will say Nixon really appears to be taking Kalen King under his wing. There were several times, even as DBs were kind of positioned right in front of me, where I saw Nixon pull King aside, talk to him specifically. Even one time, King was looking semi-confused about, what drill are we doing next? Which way do we go? Because there's a lot going on. And King looked like he had those eyes of, wait, what's next? And Nixon got him into position, helped him out. It was really, really good to see. Also on a leadership note today, I talked on Wednesday about how it looked like almost the D linemen were getting scolded after Wednesday's practice. No, not today. They were still chirping for Rashawn Gary. Just not as much. Also, huge shout out to Rashawn Gary. I know this isn't why most of you are here, but after practice, I have never seen Rashawn Gary do public autographs, anything like that. Today, there was a cluster of kids. We're talking well after practice was done. Gary, one of the last two guys on the field yet, there were kids there. He ran over and signed autographs for all the kids. I thought that was just incredibly cool, something different out of him. In terms of the offensive line, another fellow request, offensive line overall today was better, but there still were problems. Clifford was still running for his life on multiple snaps. Kadeem Telfort, the Dillard replacement at right tackle. There are at least two snaps that I can think of off the top of my head where he was blown right past by Rashawn Gary. We'll get to that in a big stream of plays that I'll cover in just a second. Jonathan, what's up, Jonathan? Saying Clifford just needs 70,000 people around him. Look, he's referred to as a gamer, right? I don't know. Ultimately, yeah, it was better today. Baby steps is still progress, right? But he needs to take some giant leaps on the moon kind of thing as of where it's going right now. And I will say, too, it's really easy to crap on Clifford right now. Pratt looks more in control than Clifford. He has more time. He looks calmer. But it's not exactly setting the world on fire on the other side of the field either. So it's just where we're at. Chad, what's up, Chad? Saying, how did the safeties look, especially the rookie safeties? Today, I wouldn't say anything tremendously noteworthy today. Just on the whole, today's practice, I don't want to say it was slower, but there was ultimately less going on. See, I talked on other days about how like the ones will be over here doing full on 11-11 and then the twos over here, and it's just constant. And then the specialists are doing something in the middle. Today, no, it was whole team focuses on different things. So like when they did red zone, the ones were doing red zone, twos were just standing and watching. So there was a lot less just overall activity on the field today. Xavier McKinney did get himself an interception on Clifford. As for the rookies today, hard to say that any of them really stood out or made any dramatic plays that were eye-catching in any regard. Didn't notice anything much from them at all. Similar to the cornerback 2 conversation. And also it's kind of buoyed by the fact that there was a lot more run plays called by the Packers offense today as opposed to pass. So just some other general notes for you. The pads, they come on tomorrow. Yes, there is practice both tomorrow and Sunday, and the pads come on tomorrow. We're finally going to start getting some hitting, finally going to start getting something real that resembles a little bit closer to real football. Looking forward to that. Also, programming note while I'm talking about tomorrow. Tomorrow, if you recall, last year I did the same thing. I reserve 1 day of training camp. I come to every day, but I reserve 1 day. My goodness. I reserve 1 day to just be a fan and bring my 4-year-old son and let him enjoy it with me. That day is tomorrow. So no episode tomorrow. There will be an episode on Sunday following practice, though. All right. So then just other notes here. Let's see. As for the red zone, here we go. Red zone, they're basically, to end practice, the ones did 2 different kind of sets of reps with red zone. And it did not appear as though they were doing the, like you gain 5 yards, move the ball up 5 yards. It looked much more pre-planned. Like, all right, you're going to do 1st and goal from the 7. Then no matter what happens on that 1st and goal from the 7, then you're going to do 2nd and goal from the 5. It looked like more scripted in that regard. So there were 2 sets here. First red zone set was 1st down, carry, Josh Jacobs, gain of 2. Then 2nd and 8, roughly. They called a screen, nearly picked. It was deflected. Nonetheless, it was caught, gain of about 2 for Jacobs. Then 3rd and 6 in the red zone. Dillon out wide. I got to say, A.J. Dillon was moving around today. A.J. Dillon had a snap in the red zone where he was out wide. There was a snap very early on in practice. That was a Josh Jacobs carry. That Dillon was the quote-unquote fullback. He was the lead back for Jacobs. And then he also, of course, was the only single back sometimes as well. So A.J. Dillon moved around a lot today. Jacobs also did some work out wide. Then for the second set of downs in the red zone, 1st and 7 from the goal line, Dillon ran up the middle. Not a lot there. It was basically not there. Oh, and the 3rd and 6 play to Dillon. It was Dillon out wide. Clifford threw to Wicks. This was the drop by Wicks in the end zone. Wicks was all alone. That should have been a touchdown, and it was just straight up a drop. Then bouncing around, 2nd and 6 from the goal line. It was play action. Clifford would have been annihilated by Kingsley and Egbare. But because it's practice, he still got a throw off, and it was picked by Xavier McKinney. Would have been a pick 6 in all likelihood. Then 3rd and 4, Josh Jacobs gets the carry, counters over to the left-hand side from 4 yards out, turns that into a touchdown. One of the few touchdowns on the day for the offensive side of the ball. Then, as I like to do, here's just a stream of plays to give you a feel of what the day was ultimately like. Just a stream of plays, then I'll get to some more questions. But this is the plays that I wrote down. These are not necessarily in consecutive order. These are from different drills, just trying to give you a feel. Josh Jacobs, left side. Dillon serving as the fullback, gain of 5. Michael Pratt, toss to Emmanuel Wilson. Wilson, 2 moves, dashes upfield, 15, 20-yard gain. Henry Pearson serving as the fullback. Another play, Wooden and Cox absolutely blow up a toss to Merriweather. The Packers keep on doing these halfback tosses. Like, you can just tell they very much want it to be a part of the offense. Thus far in camp, it is not working at all. Like that one that I just read off, that did that toss to Wilson. It was 2 moves, dashed upfield for 15 yards. That's like the only one that I can recall from 4 days now that's actually been a game. Almost any time that they do a halfback toss lately, it is getting destroyed by the front 7. This one, Kobe Wooden, Brenton Cox Jr. annihilated Marlis Merriweather on the carry. Then next play, draw to Merriweather. And he actually did break one tackle, still only ultimately a 3-yard gain. Next play action, Jacob Eason to Messiah Swinson. Not a great throw, incomplete. Then Brooks, Gary, Clark blow up a Jacobs toss. You're noticing a theme here. Romeo Dobbs did have a very nice seal block on the outside, but it didn't matter. It was Brooks, Clark, and Gary. It was going nowhere. Another play action, Clifford. I just have Clifford absolutely screwed in my notes. He wound up just chalking it check down to Josh Jacobs. It was a one-handed catch by Josh Jacobs. That was good to see, but he was immediately brought down. Another carry here for A.J. Dillon, a bounce, and then he went up the field. He did look very spry today. Then Emmanuel Wilson, nice move, darts up right. I said Wilson had a very good day, and proof's in the pudding. Pratt to Musgrave, 15-yard gain. That was one play where the size of Luke Musgrave was very evident. Luke Musgrave is just taller than basically everyone on the field. And there was one play in particular where Pratt took the snap, rolled to the left, and went up, and just threw it up. And Musgrave was taller than everybody. He came down with it, and stayed on his feet. Getting the important stuff. Next, toss to Jarvian Howard. Absolutely nothing. I believe it was Tyron Hopper with the stop on that one. Hopper's done some nice run game work in the 2 set. And then we had Eason dropping back to Toure. Toure, the throw was behind him. It was dropped. It's been a real theme with Toure. I'm sorry, buddy. It is. All right, that's kind of the notes of the day. Like I said, it was a slower paced day, and I don't want to say slower, like less activity day ultimately. Less bouncing between ones and twos, more just center focus on the whole today. Also, a shorter practice today, 1 hour, 38 minutes. I saw someone clocked it at certainly, I think it was either the shortest or second shortest of the 4 practices thus far. Tomorrow, I would expect to be a little bit longer when the pads come on. But remember, no episode tomorrow. All right, let's catch up on these. Eric, what's up, Eric? Nice to see you here again. Also saying, Wicks has had the MVS syndrome last few practices, Drop City. Yeah, it feels extra notable because, like I said, 3 of those plays today was a play where a quarterback actually dropped back, got the throw off. Like, all of that was good. We finally had good in that area. And then it was dropped. And it's like, come on, guys. Like, you got to help a little. So, I mean, ultimately, yeah, that one was rough. And as I said on Wednesday, we're now 4 practices in. And it's been 1 a day from Wicks. Just 1 pure drop a day from Dontavian Wicks. That has to get fixed. Bite me. I know you've been on that all along, and you're saying here MVS, I mean Wicks, his hands of stone, no longer drafting him for fantasy football. The thing is, I mean, look, even on Wednesday, like, he got snaps above Dobbs, at least for a little bit. You just can't beat his route running, right? Like, he still is the best route runner on the team. Last year, he was, I want to say, above average in the contested catch department. Honestly, I know the comp of Wicks to Adams happens a lot, right? And it's easy to see why. The route running. And again, I'm not saying Wicks is like Adams or in that stratosphere. But it's different in the regard of, it's not like Wicks is dropping the contested ones. The ones that Wicks drops are the ones where dude's alone. There's no one else by him, and he lets it go. And in that way, it is very reminiscent to me of year 2 Devontae Adams. All the route running in the world can make the occasional difficult catch. But when it's an easy one, then there's questions. Wicks has got to move past that, no doubt about it. Eric saying Toure doesn't make the 53. I am very much inclined to agree with you. I've been on that train all offseason. I think right now he's like wide receiver 8 on the depth chart, maybe. Like, because realistically, think of what we've got in the wide receiver room. Wicks, lock. Reed, lock. Watson, lock. Dobbs, lock. Melton, damn near a lock. And then you've got Heath, who certainly has his leg up on everybody else. So there's already 6 wide receivers. And then you get into UDFA Julian Hicks. You get into Toure. You get into others. I mean, so Grant Dubose, who's had a nice camp thus far. There's been 2 days in particular where Dubose has had nice catches. So really, where does that put Toure? Wide receiver 8, 9, maybe 7. But that's it. And I don't think the Packers are keeping that many wide receivers when the ones above him are that reliable. Eric talking about Wicks saying his route running is good, but a lot of his catches were not clean last year. That's true. Yeah. I would add that on to what I was saying earlier. I would go with that. that even if he hauled them in contested form, they still were not always the cleanest or the purest. I could get with that for sure. And then wide receiver 8 for Toure for sure. Yeah, and that's kind of the day, folks. Like, it was kind of a smaller, slower day. Like, even some of them wanted to get out of here and go enjoy their Friday. But like I said, tomorrow the pads come on. I would expect tomorrow to be a little bit longer of a practice. Also, I'm going to throw this out there too. Keep in mind, did I do that? Okay. I will say too, just keeping in mind, like, I've seen a lot of chatter today. If you're on Twitter at all, I'm sure you've seen it too. But there seems to be momentum out there. A lot of insiders saying, like, that deal is getting close. So we might hear tonight a Jordan Love contract being complete. And then, of course, you'll see the headlines about numbers. We'll see the real numbers on Monday after the contract's been submitted and some things settle down and stuff like that. So, of course, we'll get to all that as it develops, but there might be a contract in the air tonight. Then tomorrow, padded practice, no show though. Sunday, regular practice and show after that practice on Sunday. And then Eric jumping in here saying, Toure would look good in purple. Hey, you never know. They love our scraps. You never know. I will say too, I heard after practice yesterday, Wednesday, someone called out to Greg Joseph, "Hey, Joseph, better here in Minnesota, right?" And he just went, "Yeah." That's about all the response was. So it's great. Eric saying, "I hope the deal is inked today, then I can sleep good." It's got to get done. Yeah, it has to. We got to stop doing this. It's got to get done. Like, we're not to the point yet where it's really problematic. Like, we're not even to a padded practice yet. That's tomorrow. We're not to the point yet where it's like, oh, he's missing all of camp. They're never going to be able to, like, we're still very early. Camp is still very slow, for lack of a better word. So is it problematic yet? No, not really. But the longer you go on, if this gets into mid next week, if he starts missing regular padded practices, it at least gets concerning, right? So we got to wrap this up. I'm with you. All right, everybody, time for me to jump on out of here. Do hope you enjoyed. Like I said, practice tomorrow, but no, not for me. Nope. Tomorrow is my day to be a fan. Take my 4-year-old around and let him fall in love with this place as much as I have. And then on Sunday, you will indeed see me again. Thanks, everybody. Hope you're having a great Friday. I will see you on Sunday. And as always, go Pack Go.